ever heard of battery energy storage systems or BESS? You know, one of those giant battery farms? They told us coal was dirty and we nodded and said alright. They told us natural gas had to go, we didn't want to fight. They said the future's clean and green and coming to your door. We said fine, we've heard that speech a time or two before. But then on Tuesday trucks started showing up, giant battery stacks. Said sign right here, we're saving the planet and we ain't coming back. Okay, now here comes that chorus, I really like it. That's a bit too far, boys. Yeah, that's a best too far. You can sell me on the sunrise, but not a lithium scar. We swallowed a lot of progress, we choked it down with grace. But you built something the size of a school in the middle of this place. That's a best too far. Now listen, this story gets worse. Here comes verse 2. They zoned it agricultural, been that way since 42. My grandfather broke that ground and his grandfather before him too. Now a hedge fund on the Hudson has a lease and a plan, and a cooling system with a constant hum all night long across the land. They'll collect the tax credit, they'll collect the wreckage, then they'll sell it to a utility controlled by the hedge fund.
Yeah, they own the power generation, they own the transmission line, they own the power store, they even own the data centers. Everything is just under a different corporate name. It's all
a bit too far, boys. Yeah, that's a best too far. You can call it infrastructure, but we know what you are. We ran off the damn windmills, we got stuck with the swift north. But a best that catches fire slow, burns for days at a time. That's a best too far. And I ain't against the future. Lord knows the grid needs help, but there's a difference between progress and a corporation helping itself to our land, to our roads, to our water, and our county's good faith name. While the people who live here never see a thing but the flame. They held a public meeting, it was posted on a Friday. The planning board said thank you and approved it on a Wednesday. The comment period opened after the contracts were already signed. Funny how the calendar works out for that kind of thing. They forgot the environmental impact study, 200 pages missing. Said the lithium won't leak, said the thermal runaway's a dream. To be fair, they bought the cheap new equipment, they smiled and promised some training. The comment section's filling up, the neighbors found a lawyer. The county Facebook page is hot, the mood's getting sore. So they fired up the crisis team and loaded up the jets. Parachuted in the sales force, they wore the prettiest boots you've seen. Jerry, did you see the blonde Henry was flirting with? That's right, Lori with 2 eyes was her name. The rumor is that she and the P&Z guy met up later for a drink. Guess she understands how things work. Oh my, okay, let's get back on track. The crisis commando set up in the fire station with laptops, displays, and a plan passed out. Branded water bottles, fed us pot stickers, but they didn't coordinate their sales pitch. Said we hear you, we see you, your concerns are all our own. They said they were just like us, then filed the permits Monday morning, flew back home. That's a bit too far, boys. That's a best too far. We gave you the ridge lines, we signed off and we prayed, but you put something the size of a school right where our children play.
Well, that really is a best too far. Mayor says this project is shovel-ready, community approved, but nobody asked the community. That's a bit too far, boys.